Snap is releasing what could be the first true AR glasses for consumers this year, and if you care about VR, this might matter more than you think, because this isn't about a floating screen, it's about real holograms anchored to your world, like the stuff we grew up seeing in Star Wars or Iron Man. A lot of companies are trying to fake it, but real optical AR is much harder. Think about Pokemon Go, but actually anchored to your world. So no phone, no holding up a screen, you just walk outside and see it there. That's the promise. And when someone finally pulls that off, it changes how immersive devices evolve. So I got access to Snap's developer kit called Spectacles to see how close we really are. And after using them, what surprised me wasn't what I expected. First, let me be clear, these are not the ones you'll be able to buy. They're heavy, the battery lasts about 45 minutes. This is early hardware, so developers can start building before the final form factor is ready. And you feel that immediately. The first time I put them on, my honest reaction was, this is bulky. This is not what we ultimately want on our faces. Now, even Spiegel, the co-founder of Snap, says the consumer version will be dramatically smaller, lighter, and more powerful. And that matters, but here's what surprised me. The experience was already better than I expected. The first time I put these on, I launched a Lego experience. And what impressed me immediately wasn't the bricks, it was how fast the glasses understood my space. I didn't have to scan the room. There was no setup ritual. Within seconds, it detected my desk and surrounding surfaces automatically, and I could start building right there. I placed pieces down, asked for a different color with my voice, and it would spawn instantly. I could walk around it, lean in, crouch, and everything stayed perfectly locked in place. That's when the tone shifted. Later at an event, 4 of us played a darts game together in the same physical space. We could see each other throw, see the darts land, and compete in real time on crowded event Wi-Fi, and it held alignment without breaking. That kind of shared spatial alignment is not easy to pull off. A lot of early AR systems slowly drift where digital objects just shift out of place, but here that didn't happen. And because you're looking through transparent lenses instead of camera pass-through like Quest or Vision Pro, the holograms feel layered onto reality instead of reconstructed through cameras. It's a different kind of stability. But then we tried Peridot. If you don't know it, it's basically a digital pet game like a modern Tamagotchi in AR. It was originally built for phones by Niantic, the team behind Pokemon Go, which tells you this isn't just some random tech demo. What stood out was how seamless everything felt. The experience loaded almost instantly, which is actually by design. I'll tell you more about this later. There's a multiplayer mode, and when someone nearby was wearing spectacles, it detected them automatically, so our spaces aligned within seconds without any manual syncing needed. We were just in the same AR world interacting with each other's Peridot, and yes, it was ridiculously cute. But what really caught me off guard wasn't any single feature or a game, it was how complete the whole experience already feels. The user interaction design is already pretty beautiful, and there are already so many different experiences to try, not just games, but practical tools. One of the coolest was live translation. When someone speaks, subtitles appear anchored just below their mouth and they stay there, so even if I move or she moves, the text remains locked to them in space. That's when you realize this isn't about just playing with holograms, it's also about layering contextual information directly onto the real world in a way that actually sticks. What all the AI smart glasses are doing nowadays. And the software doesn't feel fragile, it feels structured. You can tint the lenses darker so the display stays visible in bright sunlight. There's a travel mode, instant photo and video transfers, built-in screen recording, even a spectator mode already, so someone on your phone can see exactly what you see. Those aren't big features, they're usability features, and they show that Snap isn't just proving the technology works, they're already building the surrounding experience that makes it practical. Most dev dev kits feel like experiments. This feels like an early version of a platform, and if this really turns into the next platform shift, I want to watch it unfold. That's when I stopped seeing these as just glasses. But before we get into that, another piece of immersive tech that surprised me lately is today's sponsor, anti-gravity. I've been flying the anti-gravity A1, and what surprised me most is how different it feels compared to traditional drones. I always found flying drones a bit overwhelming. You're trying to control it, avoid crashing, and frame the perfect shot all at the same time. With the A1, that pressure is basically gone. Because it shoots full 360, I don't have to think about framing at all. I just fly. I can get close to buildings, trees, whatever I'm exploring, and focus on the experience. I'll adjust the shot later in post. And with the vision goggles, it genuinely feels like VR. You turn your head naturally and look around like you're actually up there. It feels like a VR game, except this time it's real. I honestly didn't expect that from a drone, and it just makes flying way more fun and way less stressful. Anti-Gravity is also offering a special bundle starting at $15.99 for even better value. Check it out using the links below. Now back to the spectacles, because as impressive as this feels, there are still real limits. The hardware is very much first generation. The display field of view is 46 degrees diagonally, so it feels more like a window than full holograms across your entire vision. And hand tracking has its own bottleneck. It relies on the front cameras, and their tracking range is fairly small, so your hands can fall out of view pretty easily. Inside that window though, the display looks really good. Colors are vibrant, the image is sharp, and text is easy to read. The area is limited, but the quality inside is impressive. There's also an interesting design choice. The display is noticeably taller than it is wide. That's likely intentional. Snapchat is built around vertical content, and the layout here reflects that. So it feels purpose-built, not adapted from VR. Compute power is limited too. You're not running massive 3D worlds. Developers are working within clear boundaries. But this isn't bad. This is what early true AR looks like. If you remember the original HoloLens, that thing was massive. Compared to that, this is real progress. And socially, this already has an advantage over VR headsets. Those cover your face and signal that you've left the room. These still look like glasses. Big glasses, but glasses. You can maintain eye contact and stay present. That matters more than we think. So no, this isn't consumer-ready hardware, but the most interesting question is what happens when it is. Now, here's what I think most people are missing. Everyone is focused on the hardware specs, but the real story might be Snap OS. When we were at Snap's Lens Fest last year, they unveiled Snap OS 2.0, and that's when I realized they were taking this seriously as a platform. Everything runs as something Snap calls a lens. Think of a lens as a contained AR experience that plugs into the system instead of taking over. The OS handles spatial mapping, rendering, hand tracking, shared alignment. Developers build on top of that foundation instead of rebuilding it every time. Why does that matter? Well, because it creates consistency. Apps launch fast, interactions follow the same logic, and multiplayer is built in from the start instead of patched in later. That's very different from XR platforms where every app feels like it's reinvented the wheel. And that's not accidental. Snap has been building AR software for over a decade through Snapchat, so millions of people already use AR effects daily. They've spent years refining creator tools and shared AR experiences. You can feel that maturity here. Usually new devices arrive first and the ecosystem struggles to catch up. Here, it feels reversed. The software already feels kind of ready because the shared experiences are forming, the tools are in place. Now it's just waiting on the hardware to shrink into something you would actually wear all day. The hardware will improve, it always does. What matters is whether the platform is ready when it does, and right now Snap looks further along than most people realize. Now I already know what some of you are thinking. This won't replace my Quest, and you're right. If you want full immersion, VR still wins today. But this isn't about replacement, it's about trajectory. VR, AR, and display glasses aren't separate lanes forever. They're different paths that may eventually converge. The real question is simple: which device fits naturally into daily life? Well, the one you're comfortably wearing for hours. Once something reaches that point, immersion becomes a mode you switch on, not a commitment you make. At that stage, specs matter less than behavior, and behavior decides platform. So no, this doesn't replace your Quest, but it could be an early blueprint for where all of this is heading. So what do you think matters more for the next shift? Better hardware or a stronger ecosystem? Let me know below. And when the consumer version drops, I'll be testing it immediately, so subscribe if you want to follow where this goes.